How's it going, everyone? Now, in 1775, a Harvard professor predicted there would be 1.3 billion Americans by this year, America's 250th anniversary. Now, if you're not sure, we actually have quite a few less people than what was predicted, about 340 million. Now, at the time, the average person was having a lot of kids, and so the population was very small and it was growing very rapidly. But as economies and countries grow, the population starts to slow its curve and in some cases decline. So you have other countries that are more advanced, so you see population declines. Places like Japan, where you can buy a house in the woods for free because there's so many places that have been abandoned because there just isn't enough people for them. So what's going to happen in America? So you need 2.1 births to maintain the population. And right now we're at 1.6. Now, what usually fills that gap is migration from outside the country in, right? And America has been for 250 years this beacon that attracts the best and the brightest from all over the world to this American experiment. And right now, unfortunately, we're not seeing that level of in-migration. And our fertility rate is not increasing, it's still declining. So one thing that's been talked about in real estate circles for a long time is the macroeconomic cycle of the baby boomers and the millennials. Those are the two biggest groups that have come out of population trends and forecasts in the last 60 years. So the baby boomers now are in their 70s and 80s. Pretty soon, they're not going to need their homes. They're going to be in assisted living, or they're going to be passing on to the great beyond. So what happens when that happens? We don't have as much migration and we're not having enough kids to replace ourselves, is we have population level off and then decline. Now, that's not going to happen tomorrow, but in the next 10 and 20 years, we might actually see a correction from a housing crisis shortage to a housing surplus. So think about that when you're looking at the future. I think that the other thing you have to look at is that's the whole country, but the country is filled with what? States. So each state has different population trends. And we're going to go into a little bit of that into another video. But 1.3 billion Americans, it didn't happen, probably will never happen. And so good news, we have enough food and land for everyone, but we do need to continue growing to support the economy and to support our future. Now, if you're curious what's going on with population changes state by state, go to Cell PDX and download a report of migration patterns in the US from the last couple years.